Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to unpack a Japanese concept that might just completely change how you think about your life, your work, maybe even how you age.
All right, so let's jump right in because we're starting with a real mystery. There's this small village in Okinawa, Japan called Ogimi. They call it the village of longevity, and for good reason. People there don't just live longer, they seem happier. They've got this incredible energy. So you got to ask, right? What's their secret? Is it their super healthy diet? Or maybe the amazing climate? Well, yeah, those things help, but the real secret, it's something way deeper.
That secret, that answer, is a concept that's just woven into the very fabric of their culture. It's called Ikigai.
So what in the world is Ikigai? It sounds kind of mysterious, right? Let's break it down and see why it's so important.
Simply put, it's your reason for being. You know, the reason you jump out of bed in the morning. It's your life's purpose, that one thing that gives you real satisfaction and meaning. And here's the cool part. The people in Okinawa believe everyone has an Ikigai. Maybe you've already found yours, or maybe you're still searching for it. But the point is, it's there, inside of you, waiting to be discovered.
Okay, so Ikigai isn't just one single thing. It's actually the intersection of four really important questions. Think of it like a Venn diagram. It's that magical sweet spot right in the middle where four circles overlap. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. When you find where your passion, your mission, your job, and your calling all come together, that's Ikigai. That's the key. This old Japanese proverb really hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures a core part of Ikigai. See, a lot of people in Japan, they don't really retire like we think of it. In fact, there isn't even a word in Japanese that means to retire for good. Why? Because their purpose, their Ikigai, keeps them going. It keeps them active and involved their entire lives. All right, so let's keep building on this. Because a huge part of discovering your Ikigai is learning how to get into something called a state of flow. I guarantee you felt this. It's that feeling when you're so into what you're doing that time just disappears. Nothing else matters. You're not worried about yesterday or tomorrow. You're just completely in the moment. Your sense of self kind of melts away. Well, that amazing experience has a name. It's what the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called flow. So here's the thing. If you want to find that state of flow, you've got to fight the urge to multitask. I know. We all think we're being super productive juggling a million things. But the research is clear. Multitasking is a productivity killer. It actually drops your efficiency by a ton, and it makes it pretty much impossible to get into that deep, focused state. Our brains just aren't wired for it. Yeah, finding flow isn't just magic. There's actually a kind of recipe for it. You need to know exactly what you're doing and how to do it. But here's the key. The task has to be challenging enough to keep you engaged, but not so crazy hard that you get stressed out. It's all about hitting that perfect balance, that sweet spot where your skills are just right for the challenge in front of you. And, of course, no distractions. You know who lives and breathes this idea? The Japanese Takumi, the master artisan. Just picture it. The sushi chef who has spent a lifetime, maybe decades, perfecting the art of making rice. Or the woodworker who dedicates their entire life to a single joint technique. That absolute dedication, that relentless focus on one craft, that is the perfect picture of living in a state of flow. Okay, but this idea of flow, this intense focus, it doesn't just happen on its own. It's part of a much bigger picture, a whole lifestyle that supports it. And that leads us to the secrets of the world's blue zones. These are the handful of places around the globe, including Okinawa, where people live the longest, healthiest lives on Earth. So when scientists started studying these blue zones, they noticed some really powerful patterns. Of course, there's the stuff you might expect, a diet with lots of plants, and gentle daily movement like walking or gardening. But what's fascinating is that a clear purpose, their Ikigai, was just as crucial. That and having incredibly strong social circles to lean on. It's not just one thing, it's a whole ecosystem of health and happiness. And speaking of that ecosystem, let's zoom in on one of their most famous secrets. It's a super simple rule they live by, and it has to do with something we all do every single day: eating. It's a saying they repeat before meals, hara hachibu. It basically means fill your belly to 80%. So instead of eating until you're totally stuffed, you stop when you're just about full. It sounds simple, right? But what it does is give your body a break from working so hard on digestion, a process that can actually speed up aging at a cellular level. It's not about dieting, it's about being mindful, and it has huge benefits for your health in the long run. And that brings us to another huge piece of the puzzle, community, a powerful sense of it. They have this concept called a moai. Think of it as your chosen family, a tight-knit group of friends that you have for life, often since childhood. They act as a social safety net. Yeah, they might pool money together to help each other out financially, but the real magic is the emotional support. It means you've always got someone in your corner, and you never, ever have to go through life's ups and downs alone. So why should you care about all this? I mean, these are old traditions from a tiny island, right? Well, because these ideas are universal. They're not just some quaint historical facts. They're practical tools we can actually use in our own busy modern lives to find our own reason for being. So how do you start this journey? It begins with a little bit of reflection. Just start paying attention. What are the things you do where you completely lose track of time? When does flow happen for you? Maybe it's when you're writing code or working in your garden or even planning a party for friends. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what is it about that activity that gets me so absorbed? The clues to your Ikigai are hiding in the answers to that question. I want to leave you with one final thought. This quote, it's from the official declaration of the Senior Citizens Clubs in Ogimi. Just think about that mindset. At 80, I am still a child. Wow. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if we all stopped thinking about aging as just a decline? What if instead we saw it as a journey? One of continuous growth and finding new purpose and new joy every single step of the way.